When my father hurled my 8-year-old daughter out into a raging thunderstorm, I realized that my military training wasn't for combat, it was for moments just like this. My name is Darcy Ingram. I was 32 when my father exiled my little girl into the tempest, 2 hours and 47 minutes. That's how long she was trapped inside a concrete drainage pipe, shivering in the dark, before a stranger found her. 2 hours and 47 minutes of freezing rain stinging her skin, of the wind howling through the gaps in the jacket she wasn't wearing, of the thunder rattling the metal grates above her head. She was 8 years old and weighed barely 50 pounds. And my father, the man who was supposed to protect her, opened the front door and shoved her into the abyss like she was nothing. All because of a lie. A lie told by her 10-year-old cousin. A lie my parents accepted without a single question. Because to question it would have meant confronting the ugly truth about the golden child they'd been defending for years. What happened in that hospital room 3 hours after she was found? And the words my father choked out when he saw me sitting vigil by her bedside broke something in all of us. But they had no idea I'd already triggered a chain reaction that would dismantle everything they built. Welcome back to Mind Unveiled Stories. This is where we dissect the quiet moments that define our lives and the steel it takes to stand firm for the ones who matter most. If this narrative strikes a chord with you, share your thoughts below and make sure you're subscribed. I enlisted at 18. It wasn't for a love of parades or the allure of a uniform. It was the one door in my life my father couldn't lock shut. Ray Ingram had a blueprint for his daughter. Marry young, stay local, be grateful for his scraps, and stay silent about his flaws. My sister Jenna was the perfect embodiment of his plan. She got hitched to Derek Walsh at 21, had Tyler at 22, and parked herself 10 minutes down the road from our parents. My father beamed at her wedding like he'd won the lottery. I chose the military path, then officer school, eventually landing a logistics commission at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Every step I took away from him was met with louder and louder silence. By 24, I was a first lieutenant, running supply chains for an entire brigade. By 25, I was pregnant. The father, a civilian contractor named Marcus, vanished when I was 6 months along. No forwarding address, no phone call, just an empty apartment and a note that read, "I can't do this." I raised Lily alone. On base housing, meal plans, and every bit of leave I could salvage. My mother checked in weekly, my father monthly, and his question was always the same. "When are you coming home, Darcy?" I never gave him the answer he wanted. But I always answered Lily's question. "Where are we going next, Mommy?" "Wherever the army sends us, baby, and we'll make it work." I was excellent at making things work. I was terrible at seeing what was unraveling when I wasn't there to watch. When I received orders for a 9-month rotation to Kuwait, I had 72 hours to solidify my family care plan. Every soldier knows this form. You list a guardian. You sign temporary custody papers. You leave your child in the care of someone you trust. And you fly into a war zone hoping you didn't make a catastrophic error. My parents volunteered before I could even ask. My mother called the morning after I broke the news. "She's our blood. Of course, we'll look after her." I remember the wave of relief. Lily would have a yard, a good school district, and 2 grandparents who'd already raised 2 kids. The alternative was a fellow soldier's wife, a woman Lily had seen twice. The decision felt obvious. I designated Ray and Connie Ingram as the legal guardians. I set up a monthly transfer of $1,200 to their account. Childcare, groceries, school supplies. My father never mentioned the money. Later, I found out he never told Jenna either. Jenna's son, Tyler, was practically a permanent resident at my parents' house. He had a room, a toothbrush, and a drawer full of clothes. When Lily arrived with her single suitcase, my mother put her in the guest room, the one with the fold-out couch and no curtains. Tyler's room had baseball posters and a rocket-shaped nightlight. Lily had a fold-out couch. I didn't know that then. Lily didn't tell me. When I asked my mother if Lily was settling in, she replied, "She's adapting perfectly." That was the first deceit. It wouldn't be the last. The evening before I deployed, I sat on Lily's bed and pulled out a small plastic card. Her military-dependent ID. Photo on the front. My name on the back. Emergency contact number. I fastened it to the inside pocket of her backpack. "What's that for?" she asked. "It tells anyone who finds you that you belong to me. No matter where I am, you show them this and they will call your mom." She traced the edge of the card with her finger. "Even if you're in another country?" Even then? She got quiet. Then she said something that should have stopped me dead in my tracks. "What if Grandpa gets mad again?" Again? I put down the water bottle I was packing. "What do you mean again?" She picked at a thread on her blanket. "Nothing, he just gets loud sometimes." "Loud how?" "Like when Tyler breaks something and Grandpa thinks I did it. He yells, but then Grandma says, 'It's okay.'" I knelt in front of her. "Has Grandpa ever scared you?" She shrugged. The kind of shrug an 8-year-old gives when they mean yes, but can't find the words. I filed it away. Told myself I'd watch closer from overseas. Told myself I'd ask my mother about it. Told myself my father was strict, not dangerous. I was wrong about one of those things. By the time I figured out which one, my daughter was lying in a storm drain 4 blocks from their house. I kissed her forehead. "I'll call every week. I promise." I kept that promise. My parents didn't keep theirs. Kuwait was sweltering, flat, and 18 hours ahead of Tennessee. My days were 14-hour marathons managing logistics for forward bases. I scheduled my video calls for 6 a.m. my time, noon back home, Lily's lunch break. Except the calls never happened at school. My mother insisted on hosting them from the kitchen. "Better Wi-Fi," she claimed. But the truth came out after the second week. Connie was always in the frame, hovering behind Lily, adjusting the camera. "How's school, baby?" "Fine. What did you do today?" "Stuff. Are you and Tyler getting along?" Pause. "I don't know." She used to talk for 20 minutes straight about caterpillars, or the girl who could burp the alphabet. Now I got one-word answers. She looked past the camera like she was waiting for permission to leave. I asked my mother directly, "Is something wrong with Lily? She seems different." Connie waved her hand. "She's adjusting. It's normal. She just needs time." "Can I talk to her alone next time?" "The Wi-Fi is better in the kitchen, Darcy. I didn't push it. I should have." 2 weeks later, I noticed another thing. Lily stopped mentioning Tyler. It used to be Tyler and I played in the yard. Now, silence. "Are you and Tyler getting along?" She looked down. "Yeah. Are you sure? Can I go now, Mom?" "Grandma says lunch is ready." I let her go. I shouldn't have. A care package arrived on a Tuesday. Brown cardboard box. My mother's handwriting. Inside, 2 bags of gummy bears, a photo of Lily at a school event, and a folded piece of construction paper. I opened the drawing. Stick figures. Left side. A tall man. A woman with curly hair. A smaller woman holding a boy's hand, all smiling. Bright crayon colors, red, yellow, blue, right side. One small figure, brown hair, no smile, standing alone, no one touching her. At the bottom, in careful handwriting, my family. I sat on my bunk and stared at that drawing for a long time. My daughter drew herself outside her own family. I called home immediately. My father answered, "Is Lily there?" "She's upstairs. What do you want?" "I got a drawing from her. She drew herself alone." Silence, then a grunt. "Kids draw nonsense. Stop reading into it. She drew everyone else holding hands. She's fine. Your mother takes good care of her. Maybe if you were here instead of playing soldier, she wouldn't draw sad pictures." He hung up. I pulled out a small green notebook from my footlocker. I wrote the date. I wrote what he said. I wrote what the drawing showed. Then I folded the drawing and slipped it into the breast pocket of my uniform. It stayed there for 4 months, against my heart. I started paying attention to the small details, the ones that added up. Lily's school had a parent portal. I could see attendance, teacher notes, pickup logs. I checked it every morning. Tyler Walsh, picked up by Ray Ingram every day at 3:15 p.m., like clockwork. Lily Ingram, enrolled in after-school program. Pick up at 5:30 p.m. Different emergency contact. My mother, not my father. He didn't even put his name on her file. I called the school. The receptionist was kind. "Lily is doing well academically, but she's very quiet." "Who picks her up?" "Her grandmother." Around 5:30. Sometimes closer to 6. Tyler was picked up at 3:15. Lily waited 2 more hours every single day. Tyler's birthday in October. I saw photos on Jenna's social media. 15 kids. A bounce house. A cake shaped like a baseball. My parents grinning behind a pile of gifts. Lily's birthday in January. My mother texted a single photo. A store-bought cake. No candles. No friends. Just my mother standing behind Lily and a paper plate. I called my mother that night. Why was Lily's birthday so different from Tyler's? "We spent a lot this month. Lily didn't want a big party. She's 8. What 8-year-old doesn't want a party? Tyler lives here full-time. Lily is temporary." Temporary, she used the word like it was a fact, not a knife. But it cut just as deep. And I knew right then that in my parents' house, my daughter was a guest. Tyler was the grandchild. I sat down at my comm station at 3 a.m. and typed a hardship reassignment request. 2 pages. Single-spaced. Facts only. Military regulation allows early return if a family care plan fails. I listed my concerns. I attached the school counselor's contact info, the pickup log, and Lily's drawing. My commander, Colonel Barrett, read it the next day. He called me in. "Ingram, is your daughter safe?" "I don't know, sir, and that's the problem." He signed the request that afternoon. Then I called Captain Elena Rivera. "Jag, we'd served together at Fort Sill. She was stationed at Campbell and owed me a favor for covering her audit." "Rivera, I need legal advice. Off the record. Talk to me. My parents are my designated guardians. I think there's favoritism, maybe neglect. Document everything. Screenshots, reports, dates. If this goes legal, you need a paper trail. There hasn't been an incident. Then you're ahead of the curve. Stay there." I spent 2 months building that file, every call logged, every drawing scanned, every text saved. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell Jenna. 2 months of paperwork. 2 months of waiting. And then, 3 weeks before my reassignment was approved, Tyler told the lie that changed everything. I trusted my parents with the most important person in my life. For a year, I missed the signs that my daughter was fading from their picture. If you've ever had that gut feeling that something was off but couldn't prove it, stay with me. Drop a comment and let's continue. Tyler Walsh had been lying about Lily for months. I just didn't have the full picture yet. The first lie was small, a broken TV remote. Tyler threw it during a tantrum. When Ray stormed in, Tyler pointed at Lily. She dropped it. Lily denied it. Ray told her to stop lying and sent her to her room. The second lie was about cookies. My mother baked snickerdoodles for Tyler's class. Half disappeared overnight. Tyler told Connie Lily ate them. Truth was, Tyler gave them to a friend. Connie never asked Lily. She just said, "You need self-control." The third lie was worse. Tyler told his teacher Lily called him a name. The school separated them for a week. No witnesses could confirm it, but the damage was done. Lily ate lunch alone for a week. Every time, the pattern was the same. Tyler spoke. Adults believed. Lily denied. Adults dismissed. My mother once told Lily, "Don't be a tattletale. Nobody likes a child who makes up stories." Lily stopped telling anyone anything. She drew instead. I learned about this from the school counselor, Mrs. Patterson. She had been meeting with Lily weekly since November. Patterson told me later, "Your daughter doesn't talk much, but her drawings say everything." Ray had one absolute rule. Tyler didn't lie. Anyone who said otherwise was the problem. My mother had a pearl necklace. It belonged to her mother, and before that, her grandmother. 3 generations of Ingram women had worn it at their weddings. She kept it in a velvet box on her dresser. One Sunday in February, during a dinner I wasn't at, my mother brought the box to the table. "This was your great-grandmother's," she told Tyler. "Someday, I'll pass it down to you." She let Tyler hold it. Lily, sitting across the table, asked quietly, "Can I hold it too?" My mother didn't look at her. "Not right now, sweetheart. You might drop it." Tyler smirked. Jenna leaned in. "You know Lily's clumsy. Remember the vase? The vase that Tyler had broken. The one he blamed on Lily." They believed him. My mother spent that evening reminding Lily to be careful with other people's things. After dinner, Lily went to the guest room. She sat at her desk and drew. Nobody checked on her. Nobody asked what she was drawing. Nobody noticed she had gone quiet again. Mrs. Patterson called me on a Saturday morning. It was 5 p.m. her time. I was in the mess hall when my phone buzzed with an unfamiliar Tennessee number. "Lieutenant Ingram. This is Gail Patterson. I'm the counselor at Millbridge Elementary." I stepped outside. The wind was hot. "Is she okay?" "Physically, yes, but I'm concerned about patterns." She told me Lily had been withdrawing since January. She didn't play with other kids. She sat alone and drew. She flinched when adults raised their voices. Then Patterson told me something that made me grip the railing. She said, "Her grandfather says she's not a real Ingram." I closed my eyes. Those were her exact words. She said he told her that real Ingrams don't steal and don't lie. Not a real Ingram. My father said that to me the day I enlisted. Real Ingrams stay with their family. Now he was saying it to my 8-year-old, 50-pound daughter. And he was telling her she didn't belong. Patterson continued. "I'm not required to file a formal report yet, but I wanted you to be aware." "Thank you. Can you email me your session notes?" "I can send them by Monday." I hung up, forwarded the voicemail to Rivera, and added 3 lines to my green notebook. My father had learned nothing. My daughter was learning all the wrong things. I called Jenna the next day. I told myself it would be a calm, sister-to-sister talk. It lasted 4 minutes. Is Lily doing okay at Mom and Dad's? Jenna sighed loudly. She's fine, Darcy. She just needs to learn her place. Tyler's been here longer. Learn her place? It means your daughter walks around like she's a guest. She's 8. Silence, then Jenna dropped the bomb. I told Mom and Dad maybe you should just let them adopt Lily. You're never here anyway. My throat tightened. Adopt my daughter? I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. I hung up, opened my laptop and started drafting notes for a formal custody review. My sister wanted my parents to adopt my child. She said it like my motherhood was a lease that had expired. I decided that night that when I came home, I was coming home armed. Not with weapons. With paperwork. 3 weeks later, the reassignment came through. Colonel Barrett handed it to me. Ingram, handle it. Your kid needs you more than logistics does. I packed my footlocker in 40 minutes. Green notebook. Laptop, Lily's drawing in my pocket. I left Kuwait at 6 a.m. 17 hours of layovers, landed in Nashville at 2 p.m. Rented a car, drove to a Holiday Inn 12 minutes from my parents' house. I did not call them. I did not drive by. I sat on the hotel bed and called Rivera. I'm stateside. Good, the revocation request is drafted. I can file it Monday. If they refuse to return Lily, we go to court. If something happens before Monday, we file an emergency order. But Darcy, let the process work. Don't confront them yet. They'll play victim. She was right. I knew she was right. I drove to the school the next morning. Patterson was waiting with a thick manila folder. 6 months of Lily's drawings. September, Lily and Tyler at a table. Normal, October, family together. Lily slightly to the left. November, Lily smaller, the other figures taller, no one holding her hand. December, Grandpa's face, a huge red circle, a tiny figure at the bottom with blue tear dots. January, a birthday party, a girl alone in the corner with an X over her body. February, one tall figure in green, one small figure, holding hands. The caption, what I want. I turned it over. Patterson said quietly, she drew you in your uniform. I photographed every drawing. I sent the file to Rivera. Then I sat in my rental car and cried. The kind of crying that comes from the chest, where your hands grip the steering wheel because if you let go, you'll fall apart. 7 months of deployment and she was adjusting fine. That afternoon, I parked across the street from my parents' house. 3:45 p.m. Tyler came first. My father met him at the curb, ruffled his hair, and took his backpack. They went inside. 20 minutes later, the second bus arrived. Lily stepped off. She walked up the driveway. The front door was closed. She knocked. My 8-year-old daughter knocked on the door of the house she'd been living in for a year. My mother opened it. No smile. Wipe your shoes. Lily walked inside. Through the window, I saw Tyler on the couch. Snack plate. TV. Feet up. Lily disappeared upstairs in 30 seconds. I called Mrs. Calloway, the neighbor. Mrs. Calloway, it's Darcy. Darcy, honey, I'm glad you called. I need to ask you about Lily. That little girl sits on the porch alone every evening. Tyler plays in the yard with your father. She just sits there. Have you seen anything else? Your father yells at her. It's been getting worse. That evening, I drove to my parents' house. I pulled in at 7:15. Then I heard it. My father's voice through the front door. I told you to clean up after dinner. I did clean up, Grandpa. Don't talk back to me. Go upstairs. A pause. The creak of stairs. Nothing. My hand was on the car door. But Rivera's voice was louder. Let the system work. I closed my eyes. I pulled my hand off the handle. I backed out of the driveway. That was the hardest three-point turn I ever made. I called Rivera from the hotel. File the revocation tomorrow. Done, but Darcy, if something happens before then, I call 911. Then you. I sat in that hotel room, staring at the ceiling. 9 hours until morning. 9 hours of trusting nothing would go wrong. But I didn't have 9 hours. The storm came that night. Here's what happened inside my parents' house that evening. Around 8:30 p.m., my mother went upstairs to get her necklace for church. The velvet box was empty. She searched the room, the bathroom, the hallway. She went downstairs. Ray, my necklace is gone. My father stood up. What do you mean gone? It's not in the box. Tyler was in the living room. He watched the panic. Then he walked to my father. Grandpa, I saw Lily put something in her backpack after school. She was being sneaky. My father didn't ask a single follow-up question. He walked to the guest room, grabbed Lily's backpack, and unzipped it. The pearl necklace was inside. Tyler had placed it there that afternoon. He'd taken it from the box, slipped it into the front pocket of her bag, and zipped it closed. He was 10 years old. He knew exactly what would happen. My father's face turned a shade of red I'd only seen once before. Lily, get down here. She came down the stairs in her pajamas. Barefoot, she had no idea what was coming. The storm had been building since sundown. By 8:45, the rain was falling sideways. Wind gusts shook the gutters, a March thunderstorm in Tennessee. My father held up the necklace and her backpack. You stole this. I didn't, Grandpa. I didn't take it. It was in your bag. I don't know how it got there. He threw the backpack. 2 years of your attitude. You're lying. My mother stood behind him, clutching the necklace. She said nothing. Jenna arrived 10 minutes later. She walked in and crossed her arms. This is what happens when a child doesn't have structure. My father leaned over Lily. You have anything to say? I didn't do it, Grandpa. He straightened up. Tyler said he saw you. Your grandmother is heartbroken. Thunder cracked. Lily pressed her back against the railing. She held her knees to her chest. She didn't cry. She went very, very still. And then he said the words that put my daughter in the hospital. I've had enough of you. His voice filled the hallway. 2 years of lying and stealing. I didn't steal anything. Tyler doesn't lie. He yelled it like scripture. Tyler doesn't lie. The sun rises in the east. Tyler doesn't lie. My mother touched his arm. He pulled away. No, I'm done. Jenna nodded. Tyler said nothing. He just pressed his back against the wall. My father grabbed Lily's backpack and shoved it into her lap. You want to act like you don't belong here? Fine. She looked at him. Then past him, at my mother. Connie's eyes were wet, but she didn't move. Then she looked at Jenna, who was checking her phone. My daughter looked at every adult in that hallway, and not one of them looked back. My father walked to the front door. The rain filled the house the second he opened it. He pointed. Get out. I don't need a lying granddaughter. Those words left his mouth at 8:53 p.m. The rain was bouncing off the porch. The temperature had dropped 14 degrees. Lily stood up. She didn't argue. She picked up her backpack and walked to the door. Pajamas. No shoes. No jacket. She stepped out into the storm. My father slammed the door behind her. Next door, Mrs. Calloway heard the slam. She looked out her kitchen window and saw a small figure walking down the sidewalk in the rain. She called 911. There's a child walking alone. She just came out of the house next door. Inside, my mother sat at the kitchen table holding the necklace. Ray, maybe we should. She'll come back when she's ready to apologize. Jenna put on her coat. I need to get home. Tyler didn't move. He stood in the doorway, looking at the closed front door. He stayed there for about 5 seconds. Then, he followed his mother. Nobody went after Lily. Nobody checked the porch. Nobody looked out the window. My daughter walked 4 blocks before she found a storm drain large enough to crawl into. She sat there, hugging her knees, her backpack over her head. Officer Gutierrez found her. He was responding to Mrs. Calloway's call. He drove the route 3 times before his flashlight caught the glint of a backpack reflector in a concrete drainage opening. Lily was shaking so hard she couldn't speak. Her feet were bleeding. Her lips were blue. He wrapped her in a thermal blanket and called for an ambulance. Hypothermia. Scrapes on her knees and feet. Dehydrated. Not critical, but not okay. At the hospital, a nurse checked her backpack for ID. Inside the front pocket, she found a small plastic card. Military Dependent ID. Emergency contact Lieutenant Darcy Ingram. She dialed the number at 9:37 p.m. I was on my hotel bed, staring at the ceiling, counting the hours until morning. My phone rang. This is County General. We have your daughter. I was in my car before the nurse finished speaking. I drove 11 minutes in the rain. I ran through the emergency doors. A nurse pointed me down the hall. Room 4. Lily was in a hospital bed, IV in her arm, monitors beeping. Her hair was still damp. I sat down beside her and took her hand. I'm here. Her eyes opened. Mommy. Yeah, baby. I'm right here. In her other hand, crumpled against her palm, was a drawing. 2 stick figures holding hands. A social worker knocked on the door. I'm Nancy Odom. Do you have a moment? Come in. I'm required to file a report. An 8-year-old was admitted with exposure injuries and no legal guardian present. I understand. Who was responsible? My parents. They're her designated guardians. Was she sent out? I believe so. The neighbor who called 911 can confirm. Nancy wrote for a minute. CPs will open an investigation. Is there anything else you want me to know? I have documentation, school reports, behavioral observations. I can provide it all. After she left, I called Rivera. It's happening. CPs is filing tonight. I didn't make a single accusation. I just answered questions. The system moved on its own. 1 hour and 12 minutes later, my father walked into room 4. He saw Lily first. Small body, hospital gown. IV monitors, the color left his face. Then he saw me, sitting in the chair beside her. Still wearing my army jacket. His hands started shaking, trembling against his thighs. You can't be. How did you get here? I've been here for an hour, Dad. You're deployed. I came back early. My mother came in behind him. She saw Lily and her hand flew to her mouth. Then she saw me and started crying. If you'd been here, none of this would have happened. I held her gaze. I trusted you to be here for her, Mom. My father tried to regain control. The girl stole. No, she didn't. Tyler lied. Tyler saw. Tyler is 10, and we're not having this conversation here. A nurse appeared. Please keep your voices down. I stood up. Dad, Mom, you should leave. CPs will contact you tomorrow. My father's face went red. You called CPs? The hospital did. He opened his mouth. I waited. He closed it. They left without another word. My mother's crying echoed down the hall. The hospital went quiet after midnight. I pulled my chair closer to Lily's bed. She woke up around 1 a.m. Am I in trouble? No, baby. You are never in trouble for telling the truth. She was quiet for a while. Then she whispered, Tyler put the necklace in my bag. I saw him do it. I was on the stairs. Why didn't you tell Grandpa? Because Grandpa wouldn't listen. He never listens when it's about Tyler. I smoothed her hair. I know. I'm going to make sure the right people listen this time. She closed her eyes. I sat in the dark, watching the IV drip. Then I typed an email to Rivera. Subject: evidence package. I attached everything. The drawings, the counselor's notes, Mrs. Calloway's number, the hospital intake form, every line from my green notebook. I had spent a year trusting the wrong people with my daughter. That night, I started trusting the right ones. Miss Torres arrived at my parents' house on Monday morning at 9:15 a.m. She was a veteran investigator with a thick portfolio. She interviewed Ray and Connie separately. My father's version, she was acting out. I told her to sit on the porch and think. She ran off. My mother's version, Ray was upset. She went outside for air. I thought she'd come back. Torres noted the discrepancy. One said it was an order, the other said it was a choice. They couldn't both be true. She interviewed Mrs. Calloway. He opened the front door, Phyllis said. He pushed her backpack at her. She was in her pajamas. He told her to get out. He said, "Get out, I don't need a lying granddaughter." Then he slammed the door. I called 911. Torres wrote it down verbatim. That quote went into the official CPS file, not as hearsay, but as a direct witness statement. The child specialist for Tyler was Dr. Kessler. Tyler sat across a small table. Tyler, can you tell me what happened? I saw Lily put it in her backpack. What time was that? After school. Where were you? In the kitchen. Where was Lily? In the hallway. Can you see the hallway from the kitchen? Pause. I was in the hallway too. Were you in the kitchen or the hallway? He squeezed a stress ball. The living room. 3 locations in 30 seconds. Kessler waited. It's okay to tell the truth here. Nothing bad will happen to you. Tyler looked at his mother. Jenna's face was stone. I put it in her bag. Jenna cut in. He's confused. Kessler, ma'am, please let Tyler finish. Tyler whispered. Mom told me Lily needs to learn her place. She said if Lily got in trouble, Grandpa would send her away and things would go back to normal. Jenna stood up. Tyler didn't look at her. The room went quiet. Torres interviewed Jenna separately. Mrs. Walsh, did you instruct your son to place the necklace in Lily's backpack? That's ridiculous. Your son stated you told him Lily needs to learn her place. He's 10. You're going to believe a child over me? Torres set her pen down. Ma'am, a child's lie put an 8-year-old in the hospital. So yes, I take children's statements seriously. Jenna pushed her chair back. I'm calling my lawyer. That's your right. The investigation will proceed. Torres placed the necklace on the table in an evidence bag. This necklace was planted in an 8-year-old's bag by a 10-year-old boy who was told to do so by his mother. The result was a child being expelled from her home during a severe thunderstorm. She spent 3 hours alone in a storm drain. Jenna stared at the necklace. She didn't say another word. She picked up her phone and left. The supervised meeting took place at the CP's office on Wednesday. My parents and their lawyer, Mr. Lester, on one side. Me and Captain Rivera on the other. Miss Torres at the head. Torres presented her findings. Inconsistent statements. Tyler's admission. Mrs. Calloway's witness account. School counselor documentation. Hospital records. My father tried to interrupt twice. Torres, Mr. Ingram. An 8-year-old was hospitalized with hypothermia. This is a child welfare matter. My mother cried. We love Lily. We made a mistake. I looked at her. You said if I'd been here, none of this would have happened. But I trusted you to be here for her. That was my only mistake. I won't make it again. Rivera opened the folder. Family Care Plan Revocation. Sole Custody Request. Documentation of the $1,200 monthly payments. My father stared at the stack. You're throwing your own family away over this. You threw my daughter into a storm, Dad. I'm building her a roof. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Torres delivered the findings. Substantiated child neglect against Ray and Connie Ingram. Recommendation. No unsupervised access to Lily. Bi-weekly monitored visits. Rivera, confirmed. Family care plan revoked. Legal guardianship reverted to me. My father stood up. His chair scraped the floor. His hands were shaking again. He opened his mouth, looked at the table, and left. My mother followed him. The door clicked shut. I walked out into the hallway. Lily was in the lobby with Sergeant Kim. She looked up and ran to me. Are we going home? Yes, baby, we're going home. Our home? Our home. We walked out into the parking lot. The sun was out, first clear day in a week. I didn't look back. 3 months later, Lily and I were living on base at Fort Campbell. Small apartment. 2 bedrooms. Her room had lavender curtains she picked out herself. I had a desk job. Stateside. No deployments for at least 12 months. The court formalized my custody in April. Sole legal and physical custody. My parents were granted supervised visitation, 2 hours every other Saturday at a monitored facility. The first visit was in May. My father brought Lily a coloring book. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't mention Tyler or the necklace. When the 2 hours ended, he said, "I'll see you in 2 weeks." She said, "Okay, Grandpa." He walked out and sat in his truck for 10 minutes before driving away. Jenna hadn't contacted me. Derek, her husband, enrolled Tyler in counseling. Tyler sent Lily a note in June. "I'm sorry I lied. I hope you're not mad." She wrote back, "It's okay. I hope you're doing better." My mother calls every Sunday. The conversations are short. My father's hands still shake when he sees Lily. But he never raises his voice. He never says lying granddaughter again. I used to think protecting my daughter meant giving her a roof and food. I was wrong. Protecting her meant making sure the people around her deserved to be there, and when they didn't, it meant having the courage to be the one who said enough. Not with a scream. Not with revenge, just with the truth. A stack of paperwork, and a mother who finally came home. This is my story. One storm, one lie, one mother who came home just in time. If this reminded you that protecting your child is never overreacting, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've ever had to make a hard choice to protect someone you love, drop a comment and share your story below. Protecting her meant making sure the people around her deserved to be there. Thank you for being here. I'm Darcy, and this is Mind Unveiled Stories. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next one.